There is a fight right now within the Democratic Party, and Ezra Klein is representing a floundering corporatist centrist flank that is increasingly irrelevant in the party, and he's trying to carry water for them in the Times. I mean, I think it's a lucrative thing to do, but it's not necessarily matching the reality.
I love it. I'm so excited to disagree with you. I do, because I could not disagree more.
Progressive host of the Majority Report, Emma Vigeland, appeared on MSNBC to debate several centrists over the claim that the Democratic Party has moved too far to the left and must shift closer to the center, more like figures such as Joe Manchin, to win elections. Naturally, Emma Vigeland strongly disagreed with that idea. In this segment, we'll take a look at the clips from the Majority Report featuring Emma's fiery exchange with the centrists, and I'll share my own thoughts on it as well. Let's dive into this together.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the Democratic Party here and whether or not what this upcoming Tuesday means for them. Ezra Klein recently wrote for the New York Times that over the past 15 years, the Democratic Party has made room on its left and closed down on its right. For all the talk of what the Democratic Party should learn from Bernie Sanders and Zohran Mamdani, there should be at least as much talk of what they should learn from Manchin or Golden or Marie Perez or Sarah McBride. The party should be seeking more, not less, internal disagreement. Do you agree with that stance?
No. I mean, I don't know what reality Ezra Klein is living in. The fact that the Democratic Party has tacked to its left in what universe? Yeah. The coalescing around Joe Biden in the 2020 primary, the besmirching of Bernie Sanders supporters, the eschewing of that movement in 2016, and even in this current moment with Zohran Mamdani, who has been a shot in the arm for the Democratic Party, you still have Chuck Schumer refusing to endorse him, and Hakeem Jeffries' endorsement is lukewarm at best. There is a fight right now within the Democratic Party, and Ezra Klein is representing a floundering corporatist centrist flank that is increasingly irrelevant in the party, and he's trying to carry water for them in the Times. I mean, I think it's a lucrative thing to do, but it's not necessarily matching the reality.
I love it. I'm so excited to disagree with you. I do, because I could not disagree more. The point Ezra's trying to make is that it takes two wings to fly. That he's trying to say Democrats need to build a Big Ten. And he's not saying you got to choose between Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders and the centrist wing. He's saying Democrats need to compete in more places. You raised a stat earlier that I think is the key one. Why, when Donald Trump's numbers are plummeting among independent voters, he's got 48% strong disapproval. How come the Democratic Party's approval rating is lower as a brand
because
than
of the muddled message that I was just trying to elucidate?
So you believe it's because they're not far left enough?
No, I believe that there needs to be a different approach to politics here. Not building a tent and saying we don't necessarily stand for anything, including Ezra advocating for saying that we should run anti-abortion Democrats in red states. So let's throw trans people under the bus. Let's throw women under the bus. Let's just do anything except
reorienting territory, though.
No,
I think he's talking about being practical, and trying to
expand the map. That's what needs to happen here. Is if Democrats are how do you expand the map? Is you win in Ohio and you win in Pennsylvania and you win in West Virginia. As much as Democrats hate Joe Manchin, he was the only Democrat who could win statewide office.
I'm sorry, but Joe Manchin helped kill the child tax credit, which is the reason the Democrats are lagging behind in affordability right now.
But would it have been better if there were a Republican in that seat?
If the Democrats want to orient themselves behind a working class coalition and use that as the base, that is how you build a durable coalition, not the one that has lost to Trump multiple times.
But if you look at the track record of like Sunrise and Justice Dems and these other, more populist progressive groups,
the base wasn't there. Now the base is there. The base is currently behind it.
They have not gained a single seat
because of the institutional pushback from the Democratic Party. And
because
right now
we're seeing,
the voters are part of
their. To Emma's point, I do think that there is, when you're just looking top down from the most powerful figures in the Democratic Party establishment, there is a pattern of them being much more accepting of the rightward flank than the left side of the flank. I do think we're seeing that. I think we have some sounds of Hillary Clinton was just asked about Mamdani, who is, by every poll, still in a double-digit lead, very likely to become the mayor.
In New York City.
Hold on. Let's take a listen to the sound that we have of Hillary Clinton, and then I want both of you to respond on the other side.
This is fun.
If you had a vote in this city, would you vote for Zohran Mamdani?
You know what? I don't vote in this city. I'm not involved in it. I have not, been at all. even asked to be involved in it, and I have not chosen to be involved in it.
She was a senator from New York. She's in New York all the time for various events. She speaks up on other Democratic issues.
She doesn't live in a lot of states, and she weighs in on a lot of states.
John, do you think that's the right move for Clinton to make?
I think she's telling the truth about what she's punting because she doesn't support Zoran Mamdani's policies. Look, there's been a long struggle over, go back to 1977. I'll just go nerd out. Moynihan versus Bella Abzug. There are deep divisions inside the Democratic Party that get played out. There are good principled fights over policy. Those are legitimate fights and disagreements. And for a lot of folks, a member of the DSA who's never held a job or never had an executive experience.
Assemblyman's a job.
Not a job in the private sector. You're right.
I don't care about that, though. He has had a job.
That's the problem.
Right.
It's worth caring about whether someone's ever had a job in the private sector. It's worth caring about whether they've had an executive experience. He's enormously talented. He's very compelling.
Emma Vigeland is absolutely right here. Let's start with Joe Manchin. Ezra Klein mentioned that the Democratic Party needs more Joe Manchins. And another panelist argued that Manchin managed to win elections in West Virginia as a Democrat. But what they probably don't realize is that Joe Manchin came from a political dynasty that began with his uncle, A. James Manchin, a well-known and respected Democrat in West Virginia. Joe himself benefited from that family name, which carried strong recognition across the state. Toward the end of his career, though, Joe Manchin wasn't really liked by anyone. Democrats saw him as a conservative who leaned Republican, and Republicans disliked him because he was still technically a Democrat. He won mainly because of his name, not his policies, so holding him up as a model for Democrats today doesn't make sense. And when one of the panelists started talking about elections from 1977, I wish Emma had just said, guess what? It's not 1977 anymore. Times have changed. Trumpism, MAGA, and the modern Republican Party are nothing like the political climate back then. Yet many Democrats still act like it's the same world, following old rules that no longer work. This MSNBC debate with Emma was recorded before the current government shutdown situation, where it looks like Democrats are about to cave again and get nothing in return. They'll reopen the government and then lose all leverage to negotiate, proving once more that the party lacks fighters. We have progressives like Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Zoran Mamdani who are willing to stand up and fight, but too many Democrats, like Joe Manchin, choose to side with Republicans instead. Ezra Klein says the party needs two wings to fly, but if one wing is 27 feet long and the other is only 6 inches, that bird isn't flying straight. That's where Democrats are now. Completely unbalanced. Centrists love to appear on MSNBC and lecture that Democrats are too far left and need to move to the center to win over some hypothetical suburban Republican voter. Yet they never say the same about the GOP. You don't hear them calling out Republicans for being too extreme or suggesting they move to the center. It's always Democrats who are told to compromise and give in, and that pattern keeps repeating. Hopefully, with some of the old guard like Nancy Pelosi stepping aside, we'll start seeing real progressive policies take shape. When centrists claim Democrats aren't winning, the real reason is that they aren't offering voters anything tangible. Trump is a fascist might be true, but that alone isn't a platform. If Democrats win the midterms just to say they stopped fascism without actually improving people's lives, voters will lose faith. People want better health care, affordable education, and the chance to retire without fear of poverty, not just talk. Democrats need to go beyond extending ACA subsidies. They should be fighting for at least a public option and broader reforms. The average American doesn't care about the endless social distractions Republicans push, like outrage over trans people in sports. What they care about is surviving, being able to pay medical bills, send their kids to school, and live with dignity. If Democrats keep listening to MSNBC centrists saying be more like Joe Manchin, they'll keep losing ground, and Republicans will take back control again. Americans want leaders who will fight for them, not back down. Emma Vigeland is right. We need more progressives in Congress, in Washington, and in the White House, not fewer. What do you think? Do we need more voices like Bernie, AOC, and Zoran Mamdani, or more Joe Manchins? Personally, I don't know anyone outside of TV pundits who's asking for more Joe Manchins. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.